Hello and welcome to Hidden Gifts. I am so happy you're here, and I just want to honor you for a second for choosing in for this and setting aside the time to invest in yourself so that way you can have a higher quality of life and just get more enjoyment and fulfillment out of life. So I have like 5 pages of notes here that I put together so that way I don't forget anything that I want to talk about, and also to keep myself on track and not wasting your time at all, because I know you're wanting to get to the techniques and the insights and what you can out of this class. So I'll be referring to these often. So with Hidden Gifts, I put together exactly what I wish would have existed when I first found out about the health issues that I myself was dealing with, and I'll get into my personal story in just a moment. I wish I would have had these when I found out about like the disease and imbalance that was within my own body. And I want you to have shortcuts to emotional healing and growth so that way you can learn faster than I ever did and just really take charge of your healing journey. We won't be spiritually bypassing though. Like, this isn't like okay, we're just gonna think positive and everything will be okay and it'll all work out. This is going to be really showing up for yourself and digging deep, and it will more than likely result in some radical belief shifting. But it's within this class, I'm going to provide you with the tools to do this effectively so that way you can stop trying to figure it all out on your own. So we'll be going step by step through a process that I have found to be extremely powerful for working through anything that is holding you back emotionally and mentally, and working through it in an effective way so that way you can have spiritual growth that's effective and doesn't take years and years and years, but isn't bypassing and isn't some toxic positivity that isn't going to actually help you. So even though we're going to be working from the field of infinite possibilities, I don't want to discount any possible outcomes for you, but at the same time, I'm also not claiming that anything within this class is going to heal you physically. That's not even like good for me to claim. So I'm not claiming or guaranteeing any physical healing. I'm just going to be sharing my favorite and most effective tools for soul growth and emotional healing, specifically around autoimmune conditions and just any form of disease in the body and any struggles that you've been going through. So by the end of this class, you'll be empowered with the confidence to navigate decisions that are regarding your well-being, and you'll know that you're drawing from an innate wisdom within yourself, and you'll be equipped with techniques and mindset shifts to look at this as a journey of growth. So now I'm going to give you my backstory in 2 minutes or less. I know you have a lot going on, and even though I could talk about every facet of my journey for at least the rest of the day, if not multiple days, your time is valuable and you are here for ways to help yourself. This is also not a form of medical advice in any way whatsoever. Your journey probably looks completely different than mine. And this is going to be information at how you can look at your current state of health from an energetic viewpoint and how you can grow from it with the soul lessons that are available for you. So my story, really quick, I will read it so that way I know it will be under 2 minutes, hopefully. That's what I'm shooting for. So throughout my entire life, I suffered from random health issues, like even as a young child. And it eventually started turning into all the common symptoms of autoimmune disease. It only got worse after I got pregnant in 2011. I was desperate for answers. I was crying and frustrated and depressed every single day. Even throughout my pregnancy, I was depressed. By the time it was night, I was depressed. It felt so hopeless. My mom went with me to a lactation consultant appointment and spoke up about what I was going through, because I was bound and determined to just kind of figure things out on my own and not, I wasn't open to having people help me. So she told my lactation consultant everything I was going through. My lactation consultant had actually been in the same boat, and she put me on the path of learning about food sensitivities and how that can cause inflammation and mental health issues. And she helped me learn from some amazing practitioners about things to do. So eventually, like almost 10 years later, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. I potentially have lupus, but have been working on getting a diagnosis for that. And I've tried pretty much every protocol under the sun. Each new protocol I would try would help to a degree, but nothing would really work for good. And I'd cycle through all the symptoms and exhaustion and frustrations and anger at the unfairness of it all over and over again. I eat perfectly. Like, that sounds really presumptuous, but I'm talking no gluten, no dairy, no refined sugar, no cane sugar at all. Eventually no meat, like nothing inflammatory. I have green smoothies and tons of chia and flax in them every single day. Everything that can bring down inflammation, 15 supplements a day just to have enough energy to function. But even with all of that, I was healing so slowly. I felt like I wasn't healing at all. People in support groups I joined experienced miraculous healing in short amounts of time, especially with those smoothies. I would see people who couldn't even walk, and 2 weeks later they were able to walk with no assistance. And here I was just kind of feeling like I was stuck in this low level of suffering that I say low level because I think we all minimize our own struggles, and so that's another thing that's really important to work on. But I would see people with major problems get healed and be fine, and here I was just like barely getting by and not really healing. So that just led to more and more frustration as my body was resisting healing. I was already well acquainted with energy healing, and I started doing some deep shadow work. That eventually led me to a place where I was ready to face lifelong demons and stories that were ingrained deeply in my psyche. I started to notice a freedom in the techniques, and then I started to notice symptoms lessening. My supplements started working more effectively, and I felt like I was truly getting my life back, and actually a life way better than before. So that was probably a little bit over 2 minutes, but that's my backstory and why I'm here and what put me on this journey. And hopefully you were able to relate to that in some way and like have just kind of recognize your own personal struggles. And like I said, it's so easy for us to minimize what we're personally going through. And that's because that's our baseline. That's what's normal to us. And so anything more than that seems like more, and anything less than that seems like less. And we minimize our own struggles. So we need to honor what our body's going through and what our journey is, but also not get wrapped up in letting it bring us down. So there's a way to kind of be an observer of it without getting bogged down by it. So what this class isn't is a guide to healing your body physically, like I was saying. I'm not going to tell you exactly how I eat or what I eat or what you should eat. I am not going to talk about what will heal your gut. That's a very important aspect of all disease, in my opinion, or what's causing your autoimmunity or your specific form of disease. I've built up an entire library of knowledge about these topics, and I'm pretty sure you have too if you've been on this path for any sort of time. So this isn't going to be that, because if that was a full answer to what you're seeking, you wouldn't be here. So I'm not going to add to that. And like I was saying, this is also not a toxic positivity false hope program. Like, this isn't going to be spiritual bypassing in any capacity. What this program is a toolbox of modalities to help you find the gifts hidden within your autoimmunity or within your food sensitivities or whatever form of disease you are personally experiencing. So it's going to be finding those gifts within your struggles so you can grow in ways you never imagined, so you can enjoy life with an attitude of things happening for you and for your greatest good and for your benefit instead of to you. It's a way to shift out of the backseat and into the driver's seat so you can navigate through this on your terms. You will be empowered with the tools to transform your life and to transform your pain into your greatest powers. So these are the tools that I've been using for almost a decade to shift into higher states of consciousness around the conditions that I've been dealing with. they are tools that have helped pull me out of slumps faster and faster each time. So less time is spent wallowing in my despair. Like, I still have bad days, but like everybody does. And that's also something that's important to recognize, because it can be so easy to get caught up in, oh, I've done all the work. Like, why am I feeling so down? Why am I going through this again? But with life, like, we cycle through things all the time, and these tools will help you shift out of those states faster and faster. But recognize that there's nothing wrong with being in those states. Like, we cycle through things for a reason. Like, sometimes things will be up, sometimes things will be down, and this just helps you, so that way, if you are so bogged down by certain situations, you can shift out of that faster on the good days. I don't know about you, but before, when I was really depressed and just bogged down, I think is the best word to describe that. When I was really bogged down by things, it would take so much effort to come out of that I felt like I was wasting days that could have been good, while just kind of catching back up from that. So what these tools and these skills end up teaching you to do is to shift out of that faster. So that way, like, if you have 2 bad days, you're not spending 6 days trying to catch up from that just to have a couple good days. Like, you have 2 bad days and then you shift out of it and you have good days until some bad days hit again for whatever reason. So this, just being able to shift like that allows me to spend more time with my husband and my kids, and for us to be able to go out on adventures together and just enjoying, life in general. So, yeah, it doesn't mean I don't have bad days. I just have the tools to shift out of them and, enjoy my life regardless of the state that my body's in. Because if you're dealing with a chronic illness or something that, doesn't have an end date or a cure to it, or you could relapse back into, it's even more vital to learn how to enjoy your life regardless of how you're physically feeling. So you can honor your body, but not have the mindset that it's just like you're a victim to your body. And that is something that I think is really freeing and really empowering. So this is going to help you see the hidden gifts and lessons for growth that are hiding behind the discomfort, behind the pain, and behind the hurt. So I fully believe that the power of healing lies within our own bodies. Medical professionals and diagnostic tools are incredible, they're invaluable, and I encourage you to follow the advice of your doctor. I also encourage you to get in touch with the inner wisdom that you carry around every second of every single day. Our bodies are capable of healing themselves if they're given the right environment. A bandage doesn't heal your skin. It keeps contaminants out and it might help the process, but the real healing comes from within. Like, your body, it knows what to do. Antibiotics, whether they're pharmaceutical or from a natural source, they help rid the body of bacteria working against it. But once again, they don't heal. They're just giving your body the right conditions to do its own healing. And I think recognizing the power and that innate wisdom that your body has is so beneficial, especially when you are looking for ways to provide that right condition for your body. So yeah, so we're going to be diving into the energetic causes that are keeping your body in a state of disease, and to shine a light on them using some energy techniques and just change the narrative so you can put your body in its most ideal energetic state. I really want you to walk away from this class empowered and equipped and ready to do the work. So first of all, make sure to download the worksheet to follow along with everything. So the bulk of the learning is going to be in this masterclass, and then all the bonuses are listed on that worksheet, so that way you can keep track of them and see which ones you've tried and keep any notes on them. Then there is another worksheet that I included in the bonus section, and it helps you keep track of things you've already tried, things you want to try, and things that you never want to try again. And I love this worksheet because when you're on a journey to, healing any aspect of yourself, it's so easy to try just so many different techniques and then think, oh, there was something that worked for me, but what was it? You know, because you might do something for every single day for a month in a row, and then all of a sudden realize that it's been 6 months and you haven't done it, and you want to dive back into it, and it's like, where was that? How do I learn how to do that again? And this can help you keep track of that. So you can check in with it, see what worked, what didn't work, and save some time and a lot of effort. Because I know, you know, when you're dealing with your body not feeling good, any extra decision making can seem so much harder. So I created this as kind of a way to cut down on some of that decision fatigue and make it a little bit easier to remember what worked and what didn't work. Let's see. Yeah, and so now we're gonna just really dive into finding those hidden gifts and what is causing the states of disease, and just kind of like the imbalance within your body. So trapped emotions, these are what I have found to be one of the biggest causes of disease. And there are a lot of amazing teachers on this topic. The one I first learned from was Brad Nelson with the emotion code and the body code. And trapped emotions are just stagnant energy. And energy is meant to be flowing and expansive and constantly changing. Like, you can't destroy energy, but it can change into other things. And that was actually the inspiration behind the name for my site, Alchemy Cove, because alchemy is changing one thing into another, and I want to constantly be changing hurt and pain into growth and expansion and light. So with trapped emotions, you could have something that happened to you that you're not even conscious of. Like, maybe if you were, you know, younger than 5 years old and someone said something to you or treated you in a way that you didn't know how to process at the time, you could have trapped that emotion somewhere in your body. And emotions can become trapped anywhere. So specifically with disease, emotions that are trapped in the organs seem to be some of the biggest culprits to not having, let's see, they're kind of the reason for having like a lacking mindset. I don't want to say like, I mean, if you're going through disease, it's kind of hard to be like, oh yay, this is so exciting. But a lot of times, like trapped emotions, like the liver, that stores anger. That's where we process our anger. So if you have a lot of anger about things, you might also have the physical symptoms of having a congested liver. So that's something that is really worth looking into. And we're going to talk more about how to tune into those emotions and like what my favorite technique is for that. So some of the other emotions that can lead to disease would be feelings of unworthy or worthlessness, pride or shame. Sometimes if you're shocked about something and you store that shock within you instead of processing it in a healthy way. If as a child you weren't allowed to cry, or you were told to suck up your pain, or you were left alone when you were just needing connection, really connecting to those parts of yourself now can help those emotions flow and stop being trapped in your body, creating this disease. And it can help you to have more of a growth mindset. So learning to listen to your body when it's whispering is really important. And that kind of sounds like a really like woo-woo spiritual thing, which this class is about. So hopefully you're into that if you're here. But yeah, our bodies give us signals. And if you're able to tune into those and hear those whispers before your body starts screaming at you, you can save yourself from a lot of suffering and pain down the road. So there's a bunch of different ways that your body starts whispering before it begins screaming at you. And I created a body scan recording that's in the bonus section. This helps you tune into your body and find the places that need your attention. The more that you do this recording and tune into your body with it, the less you'll need the actual recording, because it will help you to be more in tune and more sensitive to the needs of your body. So it might seem really abstract to say, okay, listen to your body and see what it's telling you, but listening to that pain and discomfort can make it so you have insights into like, oh, I'm needing to do this. Like it could be something as simple as your muscle is cramping up and you realize, oh, I need more water. And by having that extra water when your muscle is just cramping up, you save yourself from issues down the road that come from dehydration. So it could be as simple as that, or it could be something really big. But yeah, in the body scan, like we go over, you know, every section of your body, and you're just tuning into it really quick, and you might have insights right away, or you can ask yourself to be shown these messages later in a dream or through some other sort of clarity. So just doing that often can really fine tune exactly what you need to do and what your body's trying to tell you. So another thing that's important to realize is learning to discern when you should push through something versus learning to be okay with not everything getting done and not having to prove yourself to anyone. So in our culture, we really enjoy being busy for the sake of being busy, like as if it gives us purpose and makes it, you know, say to people, hey, I'm not lazy, look at me, I have so much purpose, like I'm constantly busy. No, I can't do that, I can't do that, I'm so busy. You know, like that's, everybody is busy all the time. And being busy for the sake of being busy doesn't benefit you. So it's important to slow down and recognize that rest is a really integral part of life. A lot of times, if you don't make the space and the time to rest regularly, your body will force you to rest, and it will force you to find a way to slow down. And like, that's another form of it, screaming, you know, like it was kind of like, okay, we were tired, why did you not rest? And so it starts screaming, and it might be in the form of a disease that forces you to stop what you're doing and to slow down. So listen to those whispers before they turn into screaming. And if you're already at the point of screaming, it's fine to just rest and let your body recuperate and just lean into what it needs. Another thing that I found in people who have disease is that they nourish and take care of everyone else before they take care of themselves. And that is another way that, you know, if you're taking care of everyone else and you're not taking care of yourself, your body's going to find a way to force you to take care of yourself. So just start that today. Find little things you can do to take care of yourself, like self-care in the form of bubble baths and like expensive chocolates and stuff is super fun, but sometimes, actually all the time, the best self-care is providing yourself with the foods your body wants, making sure you're drinking enough water, making sure you're getting enough sleep, you know, just kind of parenting yourself like the most loving parent that ever walked this earth. That's the best form of self-care in my opinion. So disease also comes from disconnection, and cultivating a daily practice of connecting to whatever your form of God is, or source, or the universe, or even to Mother Earth. The specific name doesn't matter, but connecting to something that is bigger than yourself is extremely important to do. It's also important to make sure that your mind, your body, your heart, and your soul are all connected, because then they're on the same team, and then your body can be working as this cohesive unit with your soul and your heart and your mind, and you're not at war with yourself if you are in tune and connected to all parts of yourself. There is a daily recording in the bonus section that I absolutely love. It's the things that I say to myself every morning that I can remember, and it walks you through connecting to the, you know, a higher source, connecting your heart and your body and your mind and your soul to each other. And with that, you can just repeat it after me. I've also included a printable of it, so that way you can print it and just read through it yourself if you get tired of hearing my voice or just want it on the go. You can repeat certain lines from it throughout the day. So instead of getting completely bogged down by a symptom flare-up like I used to, if I'm having a flare-up of symptoms, I will repeat to myself throughout the day, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed. And I'll repeat that even if I'm laying in bed unable to move, or just starting to feel really down about my body. I think that's one of the most important times to do it, because even if the house is completely falling apart around me, if I'm focusing on the energy of I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed, and I focus on the great things that my body is doing, then it makes it so much easier to get back on track with my life as soon as I'm feeling better, as opposed to taking those extra days to have to get back on track and get into the right mindset that I'm wanting for everything. So it cuts through that resistance and struggle and makes it so much easier. And then, as important as it is to connect to all those things every day, it's equally important, or sometimes more important, to disconnect yourself from the things that aren't yours to carry. So like others' burdens and struggles, and any energetic courting from anyone, energy fragments that you've picked up from others throughout the day. So the nightly recording is in the bonus section as well, and it will help you remove all of those things. Plus, it helps you to call back your power and your energy, so you're ending the day drawn back into yourself, and so you have a clean slate for the next day. One big thing that I realized was causing things. So I spent a long time first learning about how to protect my own energy when I learned about energy healing, because I was like, okay, I'm feeling really drained. It must be other people's energy. They must be the ones affecting me. And so I learned about, like psychic vampires, and just a lot of things that drain your energy, and just, all the negative entities out there that can do that. And nothing about protecting my energy was helping me. So it made me really skeptical and stuff, but I believed in it enough that I wanted to keep going with it. And so I was like, okay, I'm open to finding the answer. And I realized that what I actually needed was to contain my own energy. So I was mismanaging my own energetic field so much without meaning to, that it's like I had all these feelers out. So like I would interact with someone and I'd be like feeling into their energy without noticing I was doing that, and I'd be feeling into that person's energy, and I just would have my energy spread out so thin that what did I have left for myself? So once I learned that, and I learned to call my energy back in and to protect my own energy, I stopped being as affected by other people's energy. And I think that for empathic people, that is a really easy trap to fall into, and to just be like, oh, I'm an empath, so I'm just bogged down by other people's feelings. But in reality, you can call that energy back to yourself. Like, that's something I work on with one of my daughters, because she is very empathic, and helping her learn to draw that energy back in has been really helpful for her as well. And in a little bit later, I will talk about my favorite technique for recentering energy. So yeah, like figuring out the best way for you to manage your energy is going to be vital on this journey, and just kind of taking that personal responsibility that, hey, this is my energy and it's up to me to manage it. It's not, you can't control what other people are doing with their energy. Another really great way to manage your own energy is through journaling or some form of therapy. So any form of therapy that you resonate with is going to help you to have insights and clarity on situations that are bothering you, that you're having trouble detangling and working yourself through. And this could be art therapy, it could be journaling, it could be going to therapy with a counselor, anything like that. Due to like financial reasons, I have had to find ways to work through things myself. And one thing I really enjoy doing is always making sure that I'm reading some sort of personal development book. And even if it's reading like 2 pages of it in a day, that just it helps recenter me and give me someone else's perspective. And if you're looking for a mentor but aren't in a position to go out and physically find one, books that you resonate with, that are actually helping you to grow and not feed into the beliefs that you're trying to change, but actually to help you like work through things, those authors are 100% your mentor. So don't look at that as something that's lesser than something else. Books are a really powerful way to grow, and audiobooks are great. I should actually eventually put together a list of my favorite personal development books. I know that like a long time ago, self-help books were seen as like a really just weird thing for people, but the quality of some of the books out there are so amazing and so life-changing. So if you can constantly be nourishing your brain with things like that, that's a really great way of growth. And then journaling is a way, so let me backtrack just a little bit. So whatever therapy you choose, it's really important to make the space to allow yourself to do that therapy. So yeah, making space to grow is vital to actually experiencing the growth. I have fallen victim to this a lot, like wanting to grow and change, but just not making any space for it at all. You know, like knowing like, oh yeah, I want to do that and I'll get around to it. And then if you don't do it, you're not going to see any benefits of it. So journaling is one thing that I really like doing, because you can do it for as short or as long as you like to. It's a way to find space and to make space, and getting thoughts out of your head and onto paper can help you see them from a new perspective, and it can also help you so you're not, you know, ruminating over and over again on certain topics. One thing I think is really important is to find a safe place where you can write things down, because then your brain will trust it and know, okay, I'm not going to be holding it up here 100% now, but it's here and it's safe. And that kind of builds some trust between your inner self and you. And yeah, journaling is so important. Like, I notice a huge change in my mood and how I can handle things if I'm journaling regularly versus if I'm not journaling regularly. And like, you can ask my family too, it's pretty dramatic. I created a printable about journaling that has some tips and some journal prompts to get you started. And these journal prompts are ones that you can use over and over again. And I really suggest writing until you feel a shift. And feeling a shift is going to be different for every person. So with me personally, I will feel a shift a lot of times when I yawn. Like, that lets me know that there was energy moving in my body. Or sometimes I'll tear up or feel really emotional. And it's, I know some people get nauseous. I am very fortunate that I don't get nauseous when I have energy moving. And yeah, like you might get like a feeling of joy. Like the more you do it, the more you'll notice what your body does when it's shifting energy, especially if you're journaling about like trapped emotions and stuff like that. You're gonna get insights pretty quickly. So whatever comes up, like if you're feeling emotional while doing it, let those emotions flow, because the reason why they're trapped in the first place is because they weren't processed in a healthy way. And letting them flow and not judging yourself. That's another really, really key part of all of this. Regardless of what modality you're using, let things happen, let your body speak to you, let yourself dive into that, and don't judge yourself, and don't have any shame for what comes up. Like, I'm extremely fortunate that I have a husband who is very open to all of this. And last night specifically, we stayed up until 2 a.m, which is not good. Sleep is so important, but luckily he was home today, so I was able to sleep in. But we stayed up until 2, just kind of talking through things. And I would realize, like, I would feel like something was really insignificant, but as soon as I would say it out loud, I would tear up or just full on cry. And finding a place that's safe for yourself to do that, whether it's on paper or with a really close friend, is really important, because as humans, we need that connection and that support. And for me specifically, that was something that I was really resistant to and thought that it would be scary and awful. But if you can find someone to have that with, it can create just a deeper level of understanding and trust. And even if it's with yourself and you're doing this on paper, being able to fully trust yourself can help you so much on your spiritual journey. So if you don't have someone externally that you feel safe enough to trust, like don't feel shame around that. Like most people don't trust themselves. So if you can cultivate that trust within yourself, that's an incredible gift that you can give yourself. So journaling is an important container, and building that trust with yourself is amazing. And to dive even further into that is the actual meat and potatoes. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that now that I'm vegan, but we're gonna go with it anyway. So this technique to rewriting your stories and finding your hidden gifts is so invaluable. The first time that I followed this process, I spent 10 hours writing everything down. Like I would stop for food breaks and bathroom breaks, and I couldn't stop. Like once I started remembering different stories and writing things down, I just became so engrossed in it that I was like, I'm doing this today. Like I took care of my kids and food, and other than that, I was like, I'm not going to watch anything or read anything until I feel like I've exhausted this list. So if you don't feel like doing it that way, that's completely fine too. Like if you feel like, okay, I'm gonna work through, actually let me get into the technique before we talk about that. But so this is a technique for rewriting your stories. It's still honoring them, it's honoring your experiences, but it's not getting caught up in the drama of the stories and the despair. Instead, it's flipping the script to focus on what gifts those experiences have given you, how you've grown from them, and how going forward they've benefited your life. And it can be really hard to see gifts in bad things that have happened, but even if something taught you how you didn't want to act or what you were not going to put up with in your life, that's a gift, and that is something to be proud of discovering and be recognized in your life. So so there is a guide, it should be right under this video or in the next section, and it's going to walk you through step by step to write down any suffering, any bad events in your life, any stories that just play over and over again in your head, and then any limiting beliefs, anything that's holding you back. And most of the time, if you start writing stuff down, more things will come to you, and it will get easier and easier each time. Any thoughts that replay in your mind, any negative self-talk, you just write all of that down, and you're the only one that's going to read it. So get really honest with yourself, and just don't hide anything from yourself, because that doesn't end up benefiting you. You can also ask your higher self to join you and guide you. And if you don't feel like you can remember stuff or you don't know what to write down, you can always ask the universe to guide you gently. I always like to add gently because I have had signs of things that I wasn't listening to or realizing, and I feel like the universe got louder and louder every single time. And now I just specifically ask for it to be gently, and I think that works a little bit better. So just really get honest with yourself and dive deep, and just kind of trust the process. So for me personally, I uncovered a lot of patterns in my life of not feeling worthy, of feeling really unheard and misunderstood, and that led to a lot of defensiveness. And uncovering that and writing down all the stories and seeing them out on paper was really powerful, because even though they were looping in my mind all the time and affecting how I reacted and responded to things, seeing them all out on paper helped me see themes that I wasn't noticing when I was so caught up in everything. So as you go through these steps, just really peel back the layers and just kind of get to just everything you can remember. Just write down as much as you can think of. And then while working through this, there's a really good chance that you're going to experience a lot of old feelings that come to the surface, and a lot of old hurts and things that you might have not wanted to think about for a long time because you didn't want to feel that pain. So, you know, supporting yourself and being compassionate towards yourself, and just recognizing that these emotions are perfectly valid. How you feel about experiences are perfectly valid, even if it was completely different than someone else's experience with the exact same situation. Both of your experiences are completely valid. We all come at life with different perceptions, and just because someone may have gaslighted you about a situation doesn't mean that what you're feeling isn't valid. And if you are able to recognize that that your experiences are just as valid, then it makes it so you're able to integrate those parts of yourself more fully. Because if you are saying like, okay, this happened, but my sister's saying that it didn't happen like that, so then you end up internalizing, I must be bad and wrong and broken, then that is just causing more shame and more trapped emotions, and that causes more imbalance in the body. So it's really important to completely, like, you can recognize, okay, she has a valid point, but I have a valid point too, and that's perfectly fine. So yeah, like just recognizing that your emotions and your viewpoints are perfectly valid is one of the best ways to allow trapped energy and trapped emotions to continue flowing. So just, you know, no judgment with yourself, no shame, just allow whatever comes up to come up and allow it to flow. So to recenter yourself, I mentioned this a few minutes ago, but this is really important right here, because if you are getting caught up in the emotions of all these old memories, it's really vital to recenter yourself. I like tapping the thymus, which is like about right here. And this is a vital energy point in energy healing. It helps activate and keep the energy flowing in your body. So doing that can recenter yourself and add more vitality. And I've also heard that it activates your inner healer. So that is, you know, like, why not do that? I will say my full name, like, I am Ashley Nicole Kraut and only Ashley Nicole Kraut while tapping. And this is a technique that I learned from Amy Jo Ellis in her Court of Atonement book. I highly recommend that for very fast energy healing and helping to see things in a new light. Like that's a really great way to just draw your energy right back to you, because that statement is like saying, I am not anything that isn't me. I'm me and only me. I also love using 2 acupressure points for locking in good feelings. I used this a lot when I was really deep into my depression and just desperate to get out of it. It helped me to reprogram my mind and to focus on life and vitality. And because it's entirely possible to be so focused on what's bringing you down that you don't notice what good things there are. And so you can retrain your mind to start noticing the good things and lock in on that feeling. And then it helps give you the strength to work through things. So the specific energy or the specific instructions on how to do those 2 points are in a video in the bonus section, and I highly recommend checking those out. Like, they're really great and really powerful. So keep in mind with all of this that you are laying down the foundations for your life. You are going to have benefits from these techniques right away, but it's not going to look perfect right away. And you're really likely to forget to use these techniques right in the moment when you need them, but that's completely okay. the important thing is to keep returning to what you know works, and it will eventually become second nature, and the benefits will compound and just keep adding and adding and adding until your life looks so radically different than it does right now. We're gonna wrap up this class now, and right now, I want you to write down the first technique that you're gonna start incorporating into your life. And then I also want you to schedule time that you're gonna sit down and go through the main workbook of this and begin rewriting your stories so you can dig out those hidden gifts, polish them up, and display them as the hard-earned treasures that you've cultivated for yourself. I fully believe in you. I am confident you have gifts hidden inside you that are waiting to be uncovered. So make the space to do the work and to find those gifts. If you aren't already in the Alchemy Cove Facebook group, please join there and share your story. I would absolutely love to hear how this helps your journey and what you were able to get from it. And it's a place where we can discuss anything that comes up and just help you further on your journey. I would love to connect with you. I am sending you so much love and light on your journey, and I wish you all the best.